All right, if you're a student, you've probably been asked this question a million times. So, what do you want to be when you grow up? But behind that question, there's an even bigger one. Is it better to become a total expert in just one thing, or should you know a little bit about, well, everything? Today, we're going to try and solve this creativity puzzle. So, this is the big question, right? Specialist or generalist? Some people call this the puzzle of multifaceted creative activity, which is really just a fancy way of asking, hey, how can you be creative in more than just one area of your life?
And right off the bat, we get this huge warning about a really common trap, premature specialization. Basically, it's when you feel all this pressure to pick your one thing, your major, your future job, way too early. And the danger is that it can actually become a hindrance, a real obstacle that could block you from reaching your full creative potential.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this whole idea, we've got to speak the language. So let's just quickly power through a few keywords that are going to unlock this whole thing for us.
First up is hindrance. Super simple. It's just anything that holds you back or gets in your way. And the big idea we're talking about is that specializing too soon can actually be a hindrance to your creativity. Next, we have multifaceted. And honestly, this is the perfect word for creativity itself. Because creativity isn't just one thing, right? It has all these different sides, kind of like a diamond. And here's a word you're going to see a lot, domain. Just think of a domain as your specific zone of genius or interest. It could be anything, science, sports, music, coding, you name it.
And finally, we get to the two big ideas at the very heart of our puzzle, specificity versus generality. Specificity, that's all about going deep. Generality is about going wide. And the real challenge, what we're trying to figure out, is how you find the perfect balance between the two.
So, now that we've got our vocabulary down, let's look at what happens when you go too far in either direction. It's a classic case of too much of a good thing being, well, not so good. And here you can see the two traps, side by side. If you go way too deep with excessive specificity, your thinking gets rigid, it gets fixed, you're kind of stuck in a box. But if you go too wide with excessive generality, you just end up with total chaos and a really shallow understanding of, well, anything.
What's really interesting is that both of these extremes, being way too narrow or way too broad, are actually dangerous to the exact same thing. Any ideas what that might be?
That's it, the transfer of knowledge. See, the most important point here is that both extremes stop you from making connections. They prevent you from taking something you learned in, say, your history class and using it to inspire a project in art class. That transfer is where the real magic happens.
Okay, so if going to the extremes is a bad idea, what's the solution? Luckily, there is one. The material points us toward a golden mean, a kind of perfect middle path. And here it is, the secret sauce. It's not about choosing one or the other forever. It's about flexible switching. It's about learning when to zoom in and really focus and when to zoom out and see that big picture. So how do we actually do that? Well, it breaks down into a pretty practical three-step plan. First, you dive deep. You take on a challenge in one specific domain. But, and this is so important, that deep dive has to be coupled with encouragement to connect what you're learning to other things. You're building bridges between ideas, not walls.
So we've looked at the puzzle, we've seen the dangers on both sides, and we've found the balanced solution. So now, let's make this personal. Let's think about what this means for you, right now, in your own life.
So let's sum it all up. Being too specialized makes your thinking rigid. Being too general makes it shallow. The real key is balance. It's having that deep focus in one area you love, but also having a broad curiosity that lets you connect it to many other things. It's like a tree. You need deep roots in one spot, but you also need branches that reach out wide. That's how real multifaceted creativity grows.
And that brings us to our final thought for you to chew on. Think about your own experience. Have you ever felt totally stuck because you only knew one way to look at a problem? Or maybe you felt completely overwhelmed because you were trying to learn everything all at once. This isn't just some abstract theory. It's a real, practical guide for how to learn better and be more creative. So the question is, what are you going to do with it?